25 Creepiest and Most Haunted Places in Oregon. It's that time of year. The weather is turning colder, the days are getting shorter, and things are getting creepier. Pumpkin-spiced lattes, flannel, and ghosts abound. As we head toward the end of the month and the scariest holiday of the year, we thought we'd put together a roundup of the creepiest spots in Oregon for you thrill seekers. Without further ado, here are the most haunted places in Oregon so that you can get your spook on. 1. Shanghai Tunnels, Portland. First up on our list is the Portland-Shanghai Tunnels. Portland used to be known as one of the most dangerous ports in the world due to the practice of Shanghaiing, or the kidnapping of unsuspecting men to work on ships often bound for Shanghai. Men and women were grabbed off the streets, drugged in saloons and other establishments, and carried out or dropped through trapdoors into the underground. Victims were held captive in brick, wood, or tin holding cells in the underground until sold to a sea captain at $50 to $55 a person. It's estimated that a minimum of 1,500 people a year were shanghaied out of Portland during the height of the practice, which lasted from the 1850s to World War II. As you can imagine, the tunnels are riddled with stories of ghosts, spirits, and unusual occurrences. Visitors can take many tours of the tunnels, including paranormal tours and Halloween ghost tours. With so many atrocities committed in these tunnels, it's no wonder it's one of the most haunted places in Oregon. 2. Oregon State Hospital, Salem. The Oregon State Hospital is famous for several reasons. It is the setting of Ken Kesey's novel One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and the filming location for the Academy Award-winning film of the same name starring Jack Nicholson. It served as an insane asylum/mental hospital for over 100 years and still functions as the state's only psychiatric hospital. Built in 1883 and located in the state capital of Salem, the original mental hospital now serves as a museum where visitors can tour the facility and learn about the patients who lived there and how they were treated. And let's just say, the conditions and treatment were often like something out of a horror story. The hospital has garnered controversy over the years for subpar care of patients, and stories abound of horrifying incidents. The most notorious was the death of 47 people and hundreds more taken ill when sodium fluoride, an insecticide, was used instead of flour, and staff and patients were fed poisoned scrambled eggs. Today, most of the original hospital has been converted to a museum or has fallen into disrepair. Visitors can even tour the underground tunnels that connect the various buildings. 3. The Geyser Grand Hotel, Baker City. Google haunted places in Oregon and the Geyser Grand Hotel in Baker City will be at the top of most lists. Opening in 1889 following the gold rush that built Baker City, the Geyser Grand was the finest hotel between Portland and Salt Lake City during its heyday. It's also one of the most haunted. And there doesn't appear to be just one ghost, but an entire squad of them that like to get rowdy after midnight on the third floor. Employees have heard laughing, glasses clinking, and conversations but cannot find the source when investigating. It is also said that the lady in blue haunts room 302, where she once lived, and can get a bit frisky with men sitting at her bar stool in the saloon. Luckily, the ghosts that haunt the Geyser Grands seem to be friendly and more into having a good time than scaring anyone. 4. Sackett Catacombs, Oregon State University. Every year around Halloween, the inhabitants of the Sackett Residence Hall open the catacombs for haunted house-style tours. Built in 1948, Sackett Hall has been linked to 2 murders, and it's said the ghosts of the victims have never left. One victim is Roberta Kathleen Parks, who left her Sackett dorm room in 1974 and was never seen alive again. One of the numerous victims of serial killer Ted Bundy, lore states that Bundy lured her into the catacombs and killed her there. Residents report hearing screams and furniture moving around the basement. According to campus lore, the other crime was the murder of a girl in her Sackett room in the 1950s by a drunk frat boy. This ghost, known as Becky, has been seen sitting in dorm rooms and as spectral lights. But believe it or not, Sackett Hall isn't the only haunted building on the Oregon State campus. 5. Waldo Hall, Oregon State University. Another spirit is said to haunt the second floor of Waldo Hall, although this one is far more benign and has a less tragic backstory. Numerous students and faculty have reported feeling the presence of another, and some have said they've seen a woman disappear. The chief suspect for this ghost is Ida Kidder, the school's first librarian and a beloved member of the OSU community. Kidder lived in Waldo Hall from 1908 until she died in 1920 when it was a woman's dormitory. Known as Mother Kidder around campus, it's thought that Kidder so loved OSU that she decided to stick around when she died. 6. Pittock Mansion, Portland. The second of our haunted locations in Portland is the Pittock Mansion in Portland's West Hills. The mansion was completed in 1914 and built by Henry and Georgiana Pittock, who came over on the Oregon Trail in the mid-1800s. Henry later took over ownership of the Oregonian and transformed it into the paper it is today. While no malevolent spirits are residing at the mansion, visitors have reported strange occurrences. These include opening and locking windows and doors and the sound of furniture being moved. Visitors can tour the mansion daily except in January and on some holidays. 7. Lithia Park, Ashland. Lithia Park is known as the crown jewel of Ashland, a quaint little town in southern Oregon. Encompassing 100 acres and miles of trails, Lithia Park is a picturesque and serene place to spend the day. Just make sure you don't go alone. Lithia Park is said to be haunted by 3 ghosts. The first is a young girl reportedly killed there over 100 years ago. The second is described as a dog-faced boy living near there in the 1920s and mysteriously disappearing. And the last is the ghost of a logger who was killed by a fallen tree. Visitors have reported seeing apparitions and hearing faint whistling. 8. McMenamin's Edgefield, Troutdale. McMenamin's Edgefield is a favorite gathering place for concerts, golf, spirits, and weekend getaways. But, while the 74-acre site is now a place of celebration, its origins are far less jovial. Built in 1911, Edgefield was originally the Multnomah County Poor Farm, which housed a mix of people needing a leg up. The residents, or inmates as they were called, supplied the labor for the farm, laundry, hospital, and jail. By the 1950s, the facility began taking in children with mental health struggles and the elderly and infirm. However, the poor farm eventually fell into disrepair until bought by the McMenamins brothers in the early 1990s. With thousands of individuals coming and going across the decades, it's difficult to say how many died there. However, it's said there are unmarked graves around the property, and paranormal activity began being reported upon McMenamins taking over. In particular, room 215 seems to be an epicenter for paranormal activity, so much so that the hotel keeps a book where guests can log their experiences. 9. The Witch's Castle, Forest Park, Portland. The Witch's Castle, better known as the Maclay Park Shelter or Stonehouse, is a 2-story structure located in Forest Park in Portland. The land in this area was initially owned by Danford Balch beginning in the 1850s. Balch hired Mortimer Stump to help clear land, and Stump lived with Balch's family. Eventually, Stump and Balch's daughter Anna fell in love and eloped when Balch refused permission. Balch then killed Stump and was subsequently hanged in 1859, the first in the new state of Oregon. The property changed hands and was eventually bequeathed to the city of Portland, where in 1929, the Bureau of Parks commissioned the stone house to be built near the site of the Balch homestead. The structure served as a ranger station and restroom for hikers, but was abandoned after being damaged in 1962. Today, the Witch's Castle serves as a creepy reminder of the storied past of the land that makes up Forest Park and is said to be haunted by Anna, Stump, and Balch. 10. Wolf Creek Inn, Wolf Creek. The historic Wolf Creek Inn in southern Oregon was originally a stop for stagecoach travelers heading north to Portland. The inn is also famous for hosting celebrities like Clark Gable, John Wayne, and Jack London, who is said to have finished the novel Valley of the Moon while there. Today, it serves as a 9-room inn and a hotbed of paranormal activity. Guests and staff have reported unexplained voices, moving objects, doors slamming, a piano playing, and apparitions of a woman in a window. This woman is thought to be the ghost of a female stagecoach driver who died there, known as One-Eyed Charlie, who turned out to be Charlotte upon her death. Guests and paranormal researchers have even claimed to have seen the ghost of Jack London in a room where he stayed, as well as his disembodied voice. Numerous paranormal activities have even caught the attention of amateur ghost hunters, and the inn sometimes holds ghost hunters' experiences where visitors can learn about the history of the site.